Hey guys, welcome back. It's Coach Bob here, CrossFit Glen Burnie, and today we're going to feature the movement, the handstand push-up. We are going to go over some beginner options and some intermediate and some advanced options. So there's going to be a little bit of something for everyone in today's video. And
small double shot Americano to start today. Top tip.
And then as bonus material at the end of today's video, I'm going to share with you a core exercise that will complement the handstand push-up that you can work on to develop super strong core. And for that, you'll need a partner, a PVC, and either a sponge or a towel or a yoga block. First thing we want to do is we want to take a look at the basic push-up before we even go up to the wall. All right, we want to take a look at the push-up as its primary mover right now, and the way we would be thinking about doing a push-up. So when we were doing our push-up, generally we're going to have our hands close to our shoulders or just outside. But the reason I wanted to show these fundamentals was that there are a lot of similarities and things here. If we don't have them right with our push up on the floor, it's harder to get it right when we're up against the wall. So let's get her to come down into the bottom of this movement one more time. And what I want to point out on here is, like, her hand position is behind her shoulders and her head is in front of her shoulders. And if you took a piece of chalk and you drew a triangle on the ground between her two hands and her head, you would see that her head was clearly out in front of her hand placement on the ground, creating a nice triangle. That's going to be one theme. The other theme I want to point out right here is heels and toes are together and core is nice and tight. And that is just going to be a good fundamental movement. I see a lot of folks when we get up to the handstand push-up, maybe our heels and our toes start to come apart and we lose the integrity of our core position. So when we practice our fundamentals and our push-ups, these will carry over to a good movement on our handstands. So I'm going to pause right here. And again, you're going to see that same triangle. Head is out in front of the hand placement and the core is nice and tight here, heels and toes together. This is piked, so you're bent at the hips. And this is basically lessening the load or lightening the load on your handstand push-up, and this is still very challenging. You can also do this with your toes on the floor, if you can imagine her toes being on the floor and her hips piked up, and it would look like a push-up with the hips up nice and high. The challenge there is to really get that triangle in the bottom position. Let's take a look at a strict version, just to kind of get it compared with all of the others, and we'll dig into that a little bit more deeply, and we're going to get one more rep. Right there, we're going to freeze her at the bottom. The hands and the head are in that nice triangle again. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Core's nice and tight. There's no bend at the hips, and there's no bend at the knees. Heels and toes are together, and everything's nice and tight throughout. Now, kipping, you're still going to have a strong core movement. So let's switch on to kipping. Kipping, you're going to, just like a push press, extend the legs and the hips violently and then finish with the press. Here's a variation for those of you who have your handstand push-up against the wall. Try flipping it around and doing it with chest to wall. This is more difficult, more challenging. It's requiring us to be even more strong across the middle this way. And if we don't have our mechanics right on that hand placement and the head placement, then this just falls apart. So this is a good one to practice those fundamentals and build strength with this strict chest to wall handstand push-up. Next up is a deficit, where we're going to get some parallettes out. I think this is James Hobart here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Definitely, we're going to have that same shape. But what I wanted to look at here is, if you imagined James upside down, or not upside down, I should say, and his hands were on a barbell instead of being on parallettes, and he's actually doing a strict press or a push press to get that bar overhead, pushing his body weight. So it's very similar and transfers over to your barbell movements. That's where our gymnastics and our barbell weightlifting movements cross paths in lots of ways. And then a freestanding handstand push-up. And we're going to have Jason Kliepa from 2011 do that same movement. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at Jason now. I think that'll be fun. All right, so we have Jason Kliepa doing his handstand push-up, and that's Carl Paoli. Carl Paoli is great, early old gangster with CrossFit and CrossFit.com, basically sharing his gymnastics knowledge as he was pursuing gymnastics as he was growing up, and then bringing a lot of those fundamentals to help CrossFitters get better at their movement. So Carl just wanted to see what Jason could do. So he kind of said, hey, Jason, just show me your handstand and push-up right there out in the middle of the floor. Now, Jason back in 2011 had, was just, lots of muscles. So he basically muscles through that. Let's take a look at it again. It's so much fun.
This is what's happening.
If you want to call it.
It's hard for you to hold the balance, but let me hold your balance, and I'm just going to play with you a little bit, and you just do a handstand push-up, okay?
Okay.
So you got a handstand.
Jason's like, okay. He was thinking he wasn't going to have to do anymore, I think.
Okay, come on out of it. So check this out. A, look how wide your hands are. B, your head is going in between your arms. That means that your base is like you're trying to balance on a freaking beam. We want your base support to be bigger, so what you're going to do, you're going to bring your hands in, and instead of sending your head straight down, you're going to send it forward. You're going to make a bigger base. See that position? Like you're doing a tripod. And then from there, you're going to push straight down. Does that make sense?
You need to calm down.
Jason's telling him he's got to calm down. Carl, you're out of control.
Just like the perfect push-up we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And you're going to send your head towards this little imaginary mark right here. I'm going to mark it with my foot. Okay?
That was ridiculous.
You ready?
So close your hands.
Close your hands. Head goes forward. Yes.
Okay.
So tight, and head goes through my foot. See where my foot is? There. And now straight back up. And now check this out. When he goes down, you have that banana shape. I want you to hollow out. So go towards my foot again. With your head. My foot is over here. Yep. Come on down. And now with your feet over here on this side. Now press up.
There we go.
That's better. That immediately got better. So check this out. You are doing your handstand push-up with a broken body position. So you're here, and then you're coming down, and it's like, oh my God, my back, I can't handle it. It's just broken. We want hollow. Here, forward, and then back up. That's going to give you way better position. Can you see that?
Yeah.
All right, we've got a couple more videos we want to take a look at. The next one is going to be from a CrossFit competitor seminar, and we have Chris Spuler and Matt Chan, and they're providing some tips on handstand push-ups. Now, these are still the early days when a lot of CrossFit was still trying to figure out these different movements. And we had the 2008, 2009, 2010 CrossFit Games. And as Dave Castro was bringing out more of these CrossFit movements, a lot of these games athletes were trying to figure out, okay, how do we get better at doing these movements? Because they're just killing us out there with these things. So we see these folks like Chris Spuler and Matt Chan getting out there and sharing this information with some of the CrossFit OGs, and they're learning, some basic fundamentals with the handstand push-up that we're providing on a daily inside of a CrossFit gym. So let's take a look at that.
Talk about handstand push-ups. So handstand push-ups, we're going to apply everything on a strict handstand push-up, which again, depending on the athlete, this could be the most efficient way to do it, especially if we're going to start to talk about smaller sets like the games this year, set of 10, and then a sled push. This is going to be the fastest way to do it. But hands are going to be about 1.5 feet away from the wall. Matt's going to kick up. Same application, belly's tight, butt is tight. I want you guys to really watch his elbow position as he comes down and comes back up. It's really important. Go ahead and do one more for me, Matt, and rest. It's always kind of boggled my mind when I see people do handstand push-ups like this. It makes no sense to me because it's a really crappy shoulder position and it's weaker. Do you guys press like this with a barbell? No, where do you press from? With elbows in front of the bar, right? So if we have our hands on the floor, our elbows are pointing back toward you guys a touch. So when Matt goes back into that position, we get a lot of help from the tricep, not just beating up our shoulders there. It doesn't have to be extreme, but his elbows are gonna go back toward you guys a bit as he presses up, okay? And you can rest. Again, really tight belly. Now, having said that.
All right, so that was Chris Spieler and Matt Chan. Just some trivia here. Chris Spieler, his sport was wrestling, and Matt Chan was a fireman. And so it's just a little trivia there about them. And what do you think Jason Kalipa was? Bodybuilder. All right, great answer. We've got one last video I want to share. This is special bonus material. So if we think about the handstand push-up, there is a good bit of strength in our core that we need, and we're doing a press. A lot of times in CrossFit, we like to combine a pushing or a pressing movement with a pulling movement. So today's core exercise that I'm going to give you complements the handstand push-up. So if we're doing a lot of pressing, then I'm going to, this exercise is going to have us up on a pull-up bar where we're going to actually use a little bit of that, the other muscles, the antagonists, right? So we're going to be pulling on the bar a little bit and activating our lats and using our core. So for this video, I have Pamela Gagnon, and she is demonstrating this movement to a football player, Will Johnson of the Pittsburgh Steelers, back in 2015.
So around the world are important because they build that lat pull down
Around the
strength
world
that we need for kipping pull-ups, that we need for bar muscle-ups, that we need for lifting, all of it. And this also uses your core. Okay, so if you don't have a partner to hold this, and you'll see why we're holding this in a second, you can stack two 45-pound plates, kind of stick the PVC through it, and that will act as your barrier. This might be really high for somebody to start off, so you might just want to stack a box.
Definitely more fun with the partner, though. Find a friend.
Jump up. Thumbs around the bar. We're going to squeeze. We're going to activate our lats, so we're going to be in this active hang, and we're going to start turning, and we're going to go all the way around. Going to come back all the way around.
All right, Pamela,
so
let's show off. Let's go all the way.
The harder it is. So that's why we have that there. So if you're a beginner, you can go very little.
And then
also,
beginner option.
An easier position is in tuck. So if you shorten the lever,
she makes it look easy though, as I'm sure you're.
Load off.
You're probably also thinking the same way.
That was just to show you. What I'm going to do is hold this for you.
All right, Will Johnson, let's do it.
And I'm going to go at different levels. All right, but you're going to hate me. We're going to get the sponge in. One day the sponge will stay in.
You can use a yoga block.
You will learn one day how to stay tight.
A towel.
All right, so you're going to jump up. I'll
like
put
that.
it in your heel. All right. Squeeze. Nice.
It keeps everything nice and
All
tight.
the way around.
Heels
Point
and
those
toes together.
Extend. Good. Much better. There you go.
So a lot of anterior core muscles
Finish
being
with an
used.
open hip at the bottom.
He's got good active
turn your hip.
shoulders.
Yes. That's the finished position. Open hip. Show me your hip.
There we go.
Show me your hip. Good. I'm going to go higher.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
one more.
Choose a good partner.
All the way up, all the way up, all around, around, around. Nice. Lost the sponge, but you didn't hit the PVC. I love it.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me on today's video. If this is the kind of content that you enjoy, please make sure you like this video so that'll let me know that this is something that you enjoy watching. And if you are really enjoying the content, please make sure you subscribe and share it with your friends. Thank you guys so much. Take care and have a nice day. Oh, peace.